The big FAQ, finally!
And there's so much of it! Come see how this is going to change the meta. We're going to be talking about what our favourite changes are, and we're also going to be talking about how this is going to change the armies that you're going to see on the top tables.
So, the big FAQ.
Amazing.
Oh my god. It was huge. There's lots of people saying it's going to be a small one, but actually it is.
This thing is crazy. So guys, anyone who's new to the channel, we are D6 Evolution and we're all about 40k tactics and just generally improving your game. So the big FAQ. So what we're going to be running through today is what I think are the biggest changes. A little bit about what Wes thinks, but mainly with me.
As always, Andy comes up with all the ideas. Nobody else, they're all Andy's ideas.
And we're going to be talking about what this actually means for you guys and what it means for the meta. So go on Wes, lead off.
Right, I think for me, it's got to be the aircraft changes to start with. What do you think about those?
Yeah, they were getting a little bit obnoxious, weren't they?
Yeah. I think we've got to blame Alex for those ones,
Yeah,
isn't he?
Alex Harrison and his a million flyer list. So anyone who didn't know, basically flyers could block an entire army from moving. So they've changed that now to you can move through the base of flyers, but you've got to end your move an inch away from enemy flyers.
Yes. You can move through your own ones as well, and you don't have to be an inch away, but enemy ones you still have to move an inch away.
Yeah. So there's still that possibility there for move blocking flyers, I think.
Yeah, because it's still difficult because you've got to be.
It's a big base, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an inch either side, so that's 2 inches gone already, and then the width of the base is about 3 inches in parts, maybe even longer in lengthways. So at the very least, it's going to be about 5 inches to go from one side to the other. So it still can be very effective.
Particularly if you've got like a big group of orc boys or something, where the front ones will be just over an inch away, the back ones will be 7 or 8 inches away, but they ain't getting through.
I think where it is very beneficial is on the corners, really, is what you can get through.
Yeah, so there is still a little bit of play in there for you guys who've got like all your Eldar flyers and your Dark Eldar flyers. This one here, but it's just not quite as powerful as it used to be.
I had them before they were cool though.
Yeah. The other thing, double hit for you guys. Prepared positions no longer works on them.
Yeah, it's a hit game wise, but when you think about the mechanic of it, you don't sit there in an airplane just holding still, waiting for the enemy to come. They're flying around. There's no real change to them really, so it's a rule that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and -2 to hit Eldar flyers with a 2-up save was slightly obnoxious.
Yeah, we don't all use those, but yeah, you're right.
He does. Yeah. So that was probably the biggest change there, because I think there was a lot of that army was becoming more and more common because it was just so efficient at doing everything. And I think that army, coupled with the changes, having Vindicares and snipers being more common, because traditionally they just had flyers and then characters behind them, just meant that it's probably just not quite viable anymore.
Yeah,
you'll still see flyers, but you just won't see an army of flyers.
Yeah, it's not quite as obnoxious. I'm glad the rumours about going down to limit 3 flyers. I'm glad that's not the case. I think it's a good compromise there.
Yeah. So next up, changes to the fly keyword.
I love this. This is such a great rule change. It's probably actually my favourite of all the rule changes. It makes my Harlequins great again. Yeah, so anything which is fly or the fly sort of rules, so Necron Wraiths, Harlequins, there's loads of things which have like a pseudo fly sort of keyword. They've all changed to, you can ignore vertical distances in the movement phase, but you can't ignore them in the charge phase, but you can still move over models like they weren't there. Great.
So boom. It's a rather elegant little fix, that is.
To rethink some of your screening.
Yeah, and this is change. Every time they change these things, I've got to redo a bunch of the tactics videos, which is cool because it keeps everything fresh.
Yeah. It's more chance for you to be on TV as well.
Yeah, becoming Warhammer famous. It's the dream.
It's the dream.
So I think that's really cool. I think what that means for the meta is Smash Captains. Smash Captains are back.
Yeah, and I think it makes your Custodian's jetbikes a lot better again as well. So yeah, I think for any fly units that are assault orientated, this is a big win for everybody.
Yeah, particularly those one little characters just being able to jump over a screen and just do some serious damage. So yeah, that's flyers. Then they've kind of tightened up a few things which I really like the rule of 3.
Yes.
So apparently taking 9 demon princes used to be okay for the rule of 3.
Let's face it, we all knew that was a bit of an abuse. They've just clarified that really, saying it is an abuse.
So yeah, there's not going to be a million demon printers on the table. The other things where I think it really applies is particularly to Gene Stealer cults, because their way of dealing with screens. And by the way, guys, if you've not watched How to Dealing with Gene Stealer cults, it's still worth a really good watch. But the main thing was that they need to deal with screens before they deep strike in. And what they used to do was take three lots of mortars from Imperial Guard, and then they had a whole bunch of different Forge World chapters they could take mortars from. So you just have like all these mortars along the back, which is a really, really efficient thing to do, but not anymore.
That's an Andy level interpretation of the rules there.
Yeah, it's efficient. Yeah. So yeah, and obviously things like taking loads of different Lehman Russes and things. So I really like that. I think that's really cool. The other thing which I think they really tidied up, which was good, is what counts as a reinforcement.
Yeah, there's quite a large paragraph on that. It was, I think, very well constructed.
Do you know what was not well constructed was the rule book, where they talked about reinforcements, reserves, and used the words interchangeably from what I could work out.
Yeah.
So it caused a lot of confusion about what exactly could move again after it redeployed. What things you could Auspex scan when they came in, like, you know, it just clears it up. I like it.
Yeah, they did talk about reinforcements before, but I think there's a bit of shift in Games Workshop's way of dealing with things, and they've gone to more standardised wording now, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, there's still a little bit of legacy there, and they've just gone some way of just tidying that up a little bit.
I like it. So essentially, anything which gets removed from the battlefield now, and you set it back up, it acts as a reinforcement or reserve or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
So you can Auspex scan it with your Space Marines, and it can't move again. More importantly, so things like Dark Matter Crystal, those Zangors have to make their 8-inch charge now.
Oh.
I know, sad times for Zangors, rather than warp timing up and making a 1-inch charge.
Oh, gruesome.
Yeah. Any other big changes? What have you got, Wes?
The Axaz phase. Yes.
I'm so glad they have changed this. Honestly, I didn't care either way, whether it was that it worked at, like, stratagem's working as if it's the shooting phase. You can use... I honestly didn't care. I just wanted them to decide one way or the other and have a ruling on it.
Yeah, it makes sort of more sense now, actually, I think, in terms of being able to not layer stratagems that aren't truly acting in that phase.
So one of the classic examples is if you've got your Harlequins, you can advance 1 unit jet bikes to a prismatic blur to get a 3-up, and then in the psychic phase, you cast a spell to make them move as if it's the movement phase, and then you prismatic blur the 2nd unit of bikes. So 2 units of a 3-up in bike.
Who would do that?
Again, this guy, while his wall of flyers are around you.
I don't know what you're talking about. But it's a sad loss for me. But actually, I think it's better for the game and overall.
I just think it's easy to understand that. It's good. So, let's talk about what the biggest changes are for the meta.
Ooh. I think the changes to night, for me, I think the change to knights is going to be a big one, actually, because everybody I play, pretty much just this guy most of the time, has a knight in there. So there's some big changes there that are going to really affect it.
Yeah, so even I thought that a knight with a 3-up invulnerable save was slightly obnoxious. Not against him with his flyers and everything, but generally...
Didn't stop him.
That's why I chose it. What are you on about? So that's really cool, having a max of a 4-up invuln. I think it makes... It definitely takes a hit to the single knight, not necessarily to the knight armies as a whole, because what would happen was you'd put one knight on a 3 or a 4-up invuln with the rotate, then you just immediately target another one. So if you've got multiple knights, it was nowhere near efficient, but at the single knight in a list, immediately you'd put it down to 3-up invuln, and then you just have to either ignore it or just try and break through that.
Yes, for me, I think that is a great change, and the upper points for the Castellum.
Yeah, no, that thing. I mean, I played against it most weeks with Simon's one, and it is. The trouble is, it validated so many units in the game, like Lehman Russes. Just any medium-sized tank in the game, it just wasn't that viable.
Yeah.
So I think actually you're going to see a lot more variety in lists now. You're going to see a lot more mech lists coming back, like Mech Eldar. Like, with the fire prisms, that's going to be quite viable again. So
I think that's one thing. Some of these changes they've made have actually made a lot more armies and builds viable, which is fantastic. We'll get onto that a bit more in a second.
Because actually what you're going to find is not just knights, it's anti-tank in general has, like, some of the biggest offenders for being, ridiculous anti-tank has just disappeared.
Yeah.
Or been a lot less efficient. I think you're going to see Mech Eldar. You're going to see a lot more Tau with like their hammerheads and things like that.
Yep.
And a bunch of stuff. I don't know what else, but there's going to be a lot more vehicles in the game.
Yeah, a lot more mechanized units.
Yeah. Rather than a knight with a 3-up invulnerable save, which is probably the only thing which could tank a Castellan shooting.
Yeah.
So that's really good. I'd say the next biggest change, sitting on with the anti, almost anti everything. What is it, Wes?
The changes to Eldar, I think. Mainly the psychic rules.
Yeah.
If you've played Eldar, you've probably had that one lone Farseer dooming and guiding everything, and the one Warlock using the
Jinx.
The Jinx.
Yeah. Doom, Jinx, remove your cover with the I think it's reveal, isn't it? Those three things. Yes, it's broken enough when it's already on Eldar, but when you've got Ravagers re-rolling to wounds, when you've got Harlequin bikes with their mortal wounds just stacking up. I mean, I think that's a massive amount of anti-tank, which has become way less efficient.
Yeah, and I think it's right. I think it should have been in there from the start.
Yeah.
When you look at any other psychic power, they normally have a caveat in there that it's to only affect units from that codex.
Yeah.
This one didn't. It just affected the target units. I think it's a great change.
No,
as an Eldar player as well. I think it's better for the game.
It's fantastic because it was an auto include. You needed Doom and Jinx in your list.
Well, that's it. Whenever I was building the list, I was trying to build a Harlequin list. I always come back to, I just need to add a Farseer and a Warlock.
Yeah.
And now that option's gone for me, which allows me to, in a weird way, be a little bit more pure in my Harlequin thinking because that can't now affect me.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Mm. So, what other anti-tank? So, you get to notice a theme here. A lot of anti-tank has disappeared. I think some of the other really big ones, Ynnari in general, it's been a big week for 40k. But Ynnari, as you know it, is no more thanks to the White Dwarf.
Yeah.
I think it is worth including in this because it's come out in the same week. Ynnari was consistently on the top tables, and you had to build to beat Ynnari, and it may be that there is a Ynnari build that no one's seen yet, which is still cool, but it's not what it used to be. There's not going to be any double shooting Reapers. There's not going to be invulnerable shining spears which can take down a knight.
No, but the shining spears are still pretty good actually in the new Ynnari.
They're good, but they're not survivable in the same way because like a 2-up, 2-up, 3-up shining spears with feel no pain just doesn't exist anymore in the.
No, definitely.
Well, it exists as an Eldar, but it doesn't exist in a Ynnari thing.
Ynnari is a very different beast now. They're more combat orientated. Lots of the buffs, most of the buffs are either mortal wounds or combat. So you'll see a very different shift to that. Where before it was mainly shooting.
Yeah,
was their main thing.
So it's going to be interesting, but certainly again they were a massive top table list, and they could easily take down Imperial Knights. They could take down anything, couldn't they?
Absolutely.
And that's why they were so good, but they're just not there anymore. The other ones, Orcs.
Yeah.
Orcs and Looters.
You love Looters.
So Looters used to mob up, and then they used to double shoot, and they used to keep their D3 for the amount of shots for both times they shot. So they can't do that anymore, can they?
No.
So they can't mob up. So instead of having 25 Looters shooting you, you're going to have 15. So nearly half as effective, and the D3 doesn't happen each time.
That's great, isn't it? That's a good change. Again, it is one of those obnoxious rules, and I can see why players liked it because it's powerful, but actually a bit too game breaking.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to interact with someone which could jump around the board. I think it's 48-inch range and just obliterated anything. And you just couldn't interact with that unit, which is
and the change with the jump and the mob up rule as well, isn't it? So using them to string out to gain assault moves and stuff. Frankly, that's gone as well now. So I think that again, it's a game-breaking mechanic that's been taken away.
Yeah. So and finally, Gene Stealer Cult Mental Onslaught has changed.
Yes.
So previously, you'd buff up the Gene Stealer Cult's leadership, you'd drop the Imperial Knights leadership or any big tank, and then you just mortal wound it off the table. There's nothing they could do about it. Now it stops on the 6, which I know seems a bit unlikely, but when you factor in the fact that they've got to get the power off, and the chance of even doing like 3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, 3.
Three mortal wounds. Assuming you get the power off, 3 mortal wounds is 50%.
And it's quite a large investment.
Yeah, no, you've got to get all the things in place. Yeah. Then you've got to get the power off, and then for your opponent not to roll a 6 3 times in a row
Yeah.
is 50%.
Unless I'm playing you.
Yeah, you just
It's good.
and then you know, so you're not even remotely killing a knight anymore with that. You're doing like 3 or 4 wins to a maximum. So it's a completely changed thing. That is.
It doesn't stop it. It just makes it very much.
You know, if you kill a knight with that, you have been the luckiest person around.
I'd probably high five you.
Yeah, you'd be like, fair enough. That was crazy dice. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you know, you've done well.
Yeah, and I like it because it's a dice game. We get excitement because it's a dice game.
Yeah.
And the chances of them rolling that 6, and when that pops up, you know there's that emotion that pops up at that point.
Yeah.
Depending on which side of the table you're on, but I'm glad that's been brought back in.
Yeah. No, so that's cool. They've also had changes where they can't assault you turn 1 anymore. Nope, sorry, that's yeah. They can't assault you turn 1 anymore. From Deep Strike.
Nope, from Deep Strike.
Yeah, but again, it's not really anti-tank, but it's worth just talking about because we've got we're talking about Gene Stealers.
Yeah.
So I think there's some really funky little things in there, but I think overall it's going to be really healthy for the meta now. What do you think the big winners are out of it?
Oh, big winners. I think as you said before, actually, the tower have become a lot more effective because other shooting units in the game have been taken away. Like, not taken away, but hamstrung a little bit.
Yeah.
Reined in. I think reined in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ynnari have been taken away their shooting element, and the Castellans have been taken away a little bit with their points increase. Actually, 100 points increase.
There's the 4-up invuln as well, which just
Yeah.
means that you can actually kill it.
Yeah, absolutely. That 100 points increase, I know lots of people are quite upset about it, but actually I think you got weighed lightly. I think 100 points is... You'd probably still take that with a 200 point increase.
No, it's still efficient, it's just not ultra efficient anymore, and it's still a lot of your list to... a third of your army, essentially, which is now is not as survivable as it was before, so... Yeah.
I think that's good.
It also means, though, that the Knights players aren't sinking huge amounts of command points into rotating Iron Shields every turn, a 3-up invuln.
Yeah, and I think the big win from this, actually, is that it's almost a new game again, because, like, once again, the meta's been jumbled up because so many things have changed, that we're playing a fresh game again.
Yeah.
I've been sat there all week trying to think about what Ynnari army I can build now, and my mind is blown because there's just so many options and it's so different.
There isn't just a Ynnari build anymore.
And now all this FAQ change as well have dropped at the same time. So
it's absolutely bonkers. Yeah, you don't know what's going to be top tier anymore. So Wes, what do you think the big winners are from this FAQ?
Well, I think Tau.
Yeah.
I think because of the changes and everything else, so like Ynnari going, and I think the changes to the Castellan Knight, I think we'll see a shift more towards Tau and maybe more mechanised units as well. So that's kind of what I think it's going to go to.
So oddly, Tau, the way you beat Tau before was either you ran up and tied them up like Ynnari did, or you outshot Tau. Because you can outrange Tau quite easily. And actually, a lot of the long-range firepower in the game has gone now. So looters, Castellans, they all can outrange Tau, and that was their weakness. So actually, Tau have got a lot better now, I think, just overall. Yeah.
But I think, to sound really cliche, I think the big winner is the game, because...
You had to go there.
I had to go there.
Yeah.
I think because it's all been mixed up again because we're starting off. We've got a new FAQ. We've got changes to Ynnari, and actually it's a fresh game again pretty much. And some of the rules that are really niggling and a little bit off piece have actually been tightened up a lot. So I feel like I'm going to be playing a tighter rule set with more options and less broken elements to it.
Some of us like that.
I know you do.
So other big winners, I think Chaos actually got buffed in a lot of little ways there. So obviously Obliterators were not going to stay at 65 points or whatever they were.
Yeah, that was obviously a mistake.
But apart from that, no, they've got little subtle buffs like Chaos characters now get Legion traits. What Chaos characters are utterly broken at the moment, Wes?
I don't know. Doesn't Lewis have 3 of them?
Yeah. Lord Discordance. So previously they could not get Legion traits. So now if you make them Alpha Legion, for example, they're all -1 to hit. And move ridiculous amounts of inches up the board with that.
Yeah. How many points today?
It's like 160 points.
How many wounds?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're really efficient, and actually now they've just become -1 to hit, and that a lot of people are starting to build 3 Lord Discordance into a list. And they've just got better. Most people thought they were going to go up in points, but no, they've been made -1 to hit instead. It's just... So guys, if you want to see more of D6 Evolution, remember we do regular tactics videos. If you want to see our latest video, check out the one up here by Wes's head. And if you want to see our latest sort of tactics video as well, check out the one by Neil Wes's crotch down there.
I'm looking forward to seeing those bad boys.
Yeah.
Click, click.
Yeah. What we've got planned next is I'm going to be doing a lot more tactics videos on deployment and counter deployment and
some more know your enemy as well.
Yes.